Hello there and welcome to my workshop. The previous video to this, we constructed a small test job and tool paths for a CNC machine. A CNC router, in this case a 6040. It really doesn't matter about the size of the machine, providing it's large enough to take the piece of work. But in this case it's a 6040. During this video I'll be giving you some tips on what you should be looking for in a 6040 as well. Okay, so now we're going to start to set up the CNC router to machine this job. So we're going to start off by positioning the work on the bed. Okay, so what I normally do to position a piece of work and to find the 0 point of the work, that's the start or the orientation start then of the piece of work, of the job. Well, it's actually, if you remember, in Fusion 360 we had the orientation in the center of the work. So everything started from the center of the work because it's only just a pocket. And we did say that the material size was 100 mil by 100 mil, 4 inches by 4 inches. But it really doesn't matter the size of the material. I've just marked the center on this piece of material because it's only a test piece. So we're going to position this on the table and clamp it down. And we're going to use a fairly pointy tool to find the center of the material. Fairly accurate, within, you know, sort of a ½ millimeter is fine when you're dealing with wood. As we're on the subject of tools and pointy tools, this is a tapered ball mill. Now I'll show you another one of those. I've got one here. So that's a tapered ball mill. Okay, it's about 1.25 inches long. Okay, and it's a 2 mil ball on the end. Okay, I recommend these cutters. They don't tend to flex very much, which is what you want, and they do a very good cut. So that's one tool I would recommend. And this has a 1/4 inch shank. Okay, now that's very important. Now, if you buy a CNC router with a 1.5 kilowatt router, the largest size shank tool you're going to get in it is 6 millimeter. I would advise you, for the extra $100 or whatever it's going to cost, you're looking at just about $100 extra normally, for an upgrade to a 2.2 kilowatt. That's what this is. Now, 2.2 kilowatt will take a shank of 13 millimeters, ½ inch. So that means your tool library then that you can use in your router greatly expands. For example, you know, we're going to be using this tool. This is a 1/4 inch 2 flute end mill, pretty standard end mill. So that would be the largest size in the 1.5 kilowatt. So you're limited to something between, this is an engraving tool, very sharp tool. It's an engraving tool, and this is 1/8 inch shank. So that would be about the smallest tool that you're going to get in to this. So if you upgrade to a 2.2 kilowatt, you can fit in there anything from 1/8 inch to ½ inch shank. So that means, you know, like this is a 8 millimeter extended 3 flute cutter. Very good cutters they are. These types of cutters, they're like a fly cutter. that you use to machine away a lot of material. If you've got a large job, you can go in with a roughing cut and machine a lot of material away with these type cutters. All right, if you can imagine, if you had, you know, a cutter surface area of that size, which is 1 inch, on the end of a shank that size, you'd have to be very careful taking your cuts very slowly. You'd have to be very particular, and you wouldn't be able to go more than about an eighth, well, probably a 1/16 of an inch deep only, because it'd snap it off like a carrot. These are normally made of tool steel. Although tool steel is very tough, they're very brittle, and they will only take so much flex before they'll just ping, snap straight off. So, and I would recommend you get a tool like this. This is 1 inch or 25 millimeter face-in cutter, normal standard router cutter, or one like this. Now this one is a 19 millimeter or 3/4 inch ball cutter. Okay, I use that one quite a bit too. I recommend that one. That's a V-bit carving tool. Okay, one of those. That's a smaller ball mill. This one is, let me see, I think that was about 5/8. What am I talking about, 5/8? No? 3/8. I got a measuring tool here, I'll measure it. Tell a fib, that's 1/2 inch. 13 mil. Same for that one. Highly recommend that. 3 flute, because that one you can cut timber or you can cut aluminium with. Okay, 3 flute, extended mill. 1/4 inch ball mill. Recommend. A lot of work for that one. And for a finishing tool, you could either buy one of these, which is a tapered 2 millimeter, or you can buy these very small 2 millimeter 1 flute cutters. Just to give you an idea, this is solid carbide. Expensive tool. That particular tool is going to cost you about $60. These cutters, for a set of 10 on eBay, you're going to pay about $12, maybe $2 delivery. So it's, you know, and but these will bust very easily. These won't bust so easily, and being solid carbide, this will stay sharp a long time. So that's a rundown of some of the tools that you probably should be looking at. You can buy all of these on eBay if you're prepared to wait. Other than that, your normal tool stockists will sell you these. Okay, so what we're going to do now is line our piece of work up and set up our 0, 0 position. In other words, tell the machine where the X and Y point is on this material. Then we're going to swap this tool out, put the 6 mil end mill in, and find out the Z. Okay, and we've got an automatic Z tool for that. Okay, what I normally do is I actually use the T-slot ways to give me a bit of a guide. I know this is straight, so I just line it up there carefully. Put the clamp there, support the clamp the other side. Now this clamp should be either flat or pointing down, never pointing up. Okay, so I use the same size material here as here, and keep it nice and even, and just, that's all it needs. That end, and the same this end. Okay, nice and firm. 2 is all you need. There's not too much sort of lateral forces on the tool to actually move the material. It's vibration that moves it more than anything. Okay, so we're going to now start the CNC router up, and we're going to use Mark 3 to position this tool over that X. Okay, I'm going to use the arrows now on my keyboard to move this, and we're going to send it down a little bit. Close to the material, and then just jog it very, very slightly. Oop, too much. That's okay for the X. Now the Y. That's pretty good there. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do now in Mark 3. So I'll zoom in slightly for that. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to position the cursor over the X and go press it. So it'll all go to 0. Press the Y, all go to 0. We're not interested in the Z yet. In fact, I'm going to take the Z up, because I'm going to change the tool out. I'll show you how to change a tool. Okay. So we got a spanner on the shank, or the actual shaft. One on here, and slagging it off. Just about got that one out. So that's the tapered ball mill. No need to have it sticking out too long. That's about right there. Now you don't have to over tighten these, it's just nip it up firm, like that. Now what you do, you get your Z height tool setter, put on there, and in Mark 3, and I'll just take the camera down and show you this. Right there in about the middle of the screen, auto tool set. So we're just going to press that, and I'll quickly put the camera back. Okay, so in the middle of the screen you can see the auto tool set here. I'll see if I'm going to be quick enough to press this and then turn the camera back. There we go. And it's auto tool setted. I think I'd say better than that. And it's set the correct height for the material. Okay, that 29 millimeters there is made up of the height of this plus the 9 millimeters that we set in Fusion 360. So if you remember when we did the program and in the settings, when we chose the tool, the settings for the offset of the tool above the material was 9 millimeters. Well, this tool setting device is 20 millimeters, which is set into Mark 3, So Mach 3 has come down, touched off on this, and added the 2 up and displayed the 2. So Mach 3 knows exactly how far it is off this material. So now we have the X, Y and Z set. There's one little job we've got to do. We've got to reconfigure Mach 3. Now when I say reconfigure Mach 3, I meant actually regen. So it regens all the tool paths just like that. So in other words, Mach 3 checks itself to make sure that everything is correct within the program to do this cut. So now we're going to do the cut. And there's our pocket in our piece of work. Just give it a quick measurement. Can you read that? 49.9. Well, actually, it's just gone to 50. There you go. So that is exactly 50 millimeters, which is around about 2 inches. So there you go. Beautiful, clean cut. No vibration marks, no tool chatter, and you'd see tool chatter on this surface here. It's absolutely beautiful, clean cut. This will just come off with a bit of emery, bit of paper, and clean up really well.